When discussing the long tail and its relation to marketing, Meehan and Scott puts forward Chris Anderson's thesis. The theory of the long tail is that our culture and economy is increasingly shifting away from a focus on a relatively small number of hits, i.e. mainstream products and markets, at the head of the demand curve, and towards a huge number of niches in the tail. Meehan Scott further argues Anderson's ideas and explains that the focus has moved from a one-size-fits-all approach due to the decrease in cost to distribute items. Examples put forward by Anderson are iTunes, Netflix, and Amazon. These all share the characteristic that they offer their audience content which isn't found in the mainstream markets. For example, iTunes can provide listeners with music outside the charts with less popular genres. Enders et al. Take on board Anderson's ideas and put forward the idea that content which is purely digital, such as photos and videos, are much cheaper to store, reducing the cost automatically as it is all done online. Software such as iTunes can store thousands of songs, albums, films, and books, which can be accessed immediately. They further argue that it is a viable strategy for online retailers to sell less of more, i.e. to offer products that sell only in small quantities. Due to the fact that they cause no additional cost and complexity, they are worthwhile carrying. This helps to explain why Amazon, Netflix, and iTunes are just some of the companies in the long tail due to their similar marketing strategies. When applying the concept of the long tail to social networking sites, Enders et al. Explores the impact of two features. The first is the impact of weak ties, which refers to discussing an individual's relationship to others and their personal networking. The second is the improved contact management, where users effectively update their own information, resulting in minimal efforts from the creators in terms of their contact lists. Enders et al. Argues that these together lead to what he calls the long tail of social networking, where the tail represents an individual's social networking site. This is the figure that Enders et al. Refers to. The x-axis shows the contacts of the individual, and the y-axis is the intensity of the site and the levels of communication that the particular individual carries out. These obviously vary massively from person to person, and the example used is if an individual has a vast amount of contacts, they will have a longer tail. Enders et al. Concludes that, overall, the long tail curve reflects the fact that we tend to have a few people with whom we may have very close relationships, the very top left of the graph, whereas there are more people we only know superficially and contact infrequently, the lower right of the graph. This idea gives a very realistic view of how social networking sites are a success.